All right. Hi, Casey. Hello, everyone. Hello, welcome, welcome, welcome. It is that time again for our weekly pop-in or weekly check-in. Okay. Guys, please don't mind me. I'm just finishing setting up because we got some stuff we're going to talk about. Hi, Original Beautiful. Guys, I have some good news. I have set up March's schedule for the group meetings, the group chat meetings for Zoom and one-on-one meetings. If you're interested in receiving a copy of the calendar, just please send me an email, narcsurvival101@gmail.com. I'll send you the calendar. Okay, if you're interested in joining any of the group chats, and this is for support for people who have gone through narcissistic abuse, domestic abuse. Thank you, baby. Any kind of relational abuse. Please send me the email. I'll send it to you if you're interested. I'll send you all of the necessary paperwork that you'll just need to look over, and we could definitely set up those meetings for you guys. Leonard Smith. Welcome, sweetheart. Thank you for being here tonight. It's always a pleasure seeing you guys here. Guys, so in case anyone is new, anyone's passing through and they're interested in knowing what this live chat is all about, this live chat is basically, if you don't already know from my handle, Narc Abuse Survival 101. So it's pretty much an educational way. Well, it's a way to help educate people and, of course, help people through their journey, after enduring narcissistic abuse, domestic abuse, and, just trying to help people heal, get through the motions. Um, Brooklyn X 228. Who's your? I just so I'm sure, because I don't know if you're referring to me. I have two sister-in-laws, so just let me know. Knick-knack. I'm going to say I'm veering more towards girl. I'm veering for some reason towards girl. Oh, Scraps, I'm so sorry to hear that. I'm so sorry, sweetheart. I have you in my prayer, sweetheart. That's just, I can't imagine. I cannot imagine, losing my child. I am so sorry. You have Please accept my condolences. Oh, that just broke my heart. That really broke my heart. I'm so, so sorry. Oh, Scraps, you gotta stay strong, sweetheart. You have to stay strong, okay? As a mother, I can't imagine. I seriously cannot imagine what you're feeling right now, what you're enduring right now. But God is, that's the point of God giving us strength, okay? And at the end of the day, I don't know if you have any other children, and if you do, they definitely will need their mom. So please, just continue to just pray to God, and continue to try. Just please try. Okay. Oh, scraps. You know something, one thing I will say, being as I could see that you clearly, you love your child, and you were, probably an awesome mom, and even in the future, that'll continue. Just your primal focus is your child. And if he doesn't want to help, if he doesn't want to, become a part of, doing what he needs to do as the other parent, you take on that role, and you send your child off, and in with love. Okay, with love. It doesn't matter what the other parent says or what the other parent thinks. That child had your love. That's what matters. That's what matters. Okay. So he's the one who's gonna, completely lose out, and, not have the ability to, I mean, I cannot imagine saying goodbye to my child, but, in the end, he's gonna be the one who regrets it. Okay. You continue doing what you have to do, and you continue to, show that love for your child. Okay. Because even though he may not physically be here at the end of the day, he's always going to be here in spirit. So please. Okay. So, guys, let's get started by me giving the disclaimers. So, like I said, for anyone who's new to the chat, this is Narc Abuse Survival 101 for victims and survivors of narcissistic abuse. One, I'm not a medical professional, okay? So please, if you're receiving therapy, professional services, continue to do so. Purpose of this channel is to help help educate, and of course, help be a support system for people who are enduring the abuse, who have endured it, and who just simply need help in directing them, within their healing. Okay? Number two, what do I always say, guys? We don't do bullies here, okay? So if you don't have anything nice to say, please don't say anything at all, because unless my moderators get to you first, I have a mouth on me, okay? I'm very protective of myself and, of course, of all of the people that are here, okay? This is a safe space for everyone. So if I catch anyone bullying anybody on here, I will hope that my moderators get to you. Let's just say that, okay? I'm a Christian woman. I love God, but I'll tell you right now, I'm not perfect, okay? And of course, number three, already started. You guys already know, throw up those purple hearts, okay, for awareness, narcissistic abuse awareness, domestic violence awareness, for the people who went, just giving voices to the voiceless, guys. Okay, giving the voices to the voiceless, for those who were unable to give their stories, unable to break free from it, and are still struggling to break free from it. Okay, I love it, love it, love it. Thank you so much, guys. So let's go. And I'm going to go back because I don't know if anyone was asking any questions, but let's see. April 1st will be 6 years that I left my abusive ex. That day almost lost my life. And God bless you. God bless you. Keep going, sweetheart. Keep going. I don't know if you guys noticed, but you guys become so different, right? You like completely different people after you break free from toxicity. Thank you, Elizabeth. Thank you so much for that, sweetheart. You become completely different people after you break free from it, and you actually, you see reality for what it is. You come into that level of acceptance, and then you come to see that the person you were with really wasn't the person that you were with. It was pretty much, someone who they portrayed themselves to be. And I've seen a lot of videos, especially with people who are actually diagnosed with NPD, doing videos to try to help people. And it's amazing because, those are the ones who are becoming more aware of their problems and actually don't want to be like that anymore. So they try to help other people. So I give kudos to them too, because, it's not easy. It's not easy to admit that we're wrong, let alone admit that we have a personality disorder or issues. And one of the things I wanted to talk with you guys today is reactive abuse, okay? I noticed that term being used a lot, and I never really liked the term because it kind of seemed like an oxymoron, where it's like, you're reacting to abusive behaviors by utilizing abusive behaviors. I simply call it you being human and just getting fed up and getting tired. So you end up just pretty much feeding them what they fed you, right? And a lot of the time, people who sit with, with reactive abuse, I mean, listen, how many of us have done that? How many of you got so fed up that you just couldn't take it anymore and you snapped and you ended up like reversing everything onto them? You know what they say, if you can dish it, you can take it, right? So if you've been in a like consistently abusive relationships where it's like verbal, emotional, psychological, and even physical abuse, you get tired to the point that you actually react with the same type of abuse that they were inflicting onto you. Don't beat yourselves up about it if you did it, guys. Okay? Don't beat yourself up about it. I'm going to tell you right now. This is simply you being human, that you can no longer take it. We were watching a show. What was it called? Boiling Frog Syndrome, right? It's called Boiling Frog Syndrome. And how they described it was you take the frog, and if you take a frog and you put them in boiling hot water, they're instantly going to react. So they're instantly going to try to kick to get out of that hot water. But if you take a frog and you put them in cold water and you put fire underneath, the pot or wherever it is you put them in, over time it starts to build up, right? The temperature starts to build up little by little. Frog is still sitting in the pot, but the temperature is getting warm and then it's getting hot to the point that it's getting boiling. That's pretty much where you guys were sitting at. You were sitting in a pot of water, and over time, the heat, the narcissistic person, the manipulator, they were turning up the heat throughout your relationship until you got to the point that the water was boiling and you reacted, okay? A lot of people tend to think, well, maybe I shouldn't have reacted that way. Maybe I should, oh, thank you, Diana. Thank you, sweetheart. Maybe I shouldn't have reacted that way. Maybe I should have just, chillaxed for a minute. Because why? Because the narcissist convinced you that you are the abuser. So if you had reactive abuse, we're just going to call it that. If you actually demonstrated reactive abuse, it's not necessarily you abusing them. It's you responding, reacting towards their abuse. So if they're yelling at you, they're constantly like poking at you and yelling and just, you, and doing all of this. Give me 1 second. Well, listen, that's the whole point of it being a theory, but it makes sense. It does make sense, and it basically, people could just use that as an analogy, but it makes sense. A victim of abuse, of narcissistic abuse, though they're basically being trauma bonded to the narcissist for the duration of their relationship, at some point, they're going to react. That's pretty much how it's going to get. So if you had a narcissist who was constantly harping and just kind of like, just coming at you really hard, coming at you with all kinds of nonsense, and you get so fed up that you're to the point where you're like, enough, and you start cursing them out. You start lashing back at them. You just can't take it anymore. And they take a step back, they look at you, and they see that you're actually, you listen, you're standing up for yourself. Plain and simple. You're standing up. You're standing up to the bully, and you're giving them what they were giving you. They try to flip that around. They try to flip it around, and they try to accuse you of being abusive. How many of you have reacted towards their abuse? But by the end of that night, by the end of that conversation, you were the one who was ended up apologizing to them for your reaction. You ended up saying, I'm sorry, because they convinced you so much. Listen, let's recap this. Trauma bond, right? You've been traumatically bonded to them. They're telling you all the things that are wrong about you. They're sitting there making you out to be, thank you so much for the gifts, guys. If I don't get to thank you individually, thank you so much. They're pointing out all of your flaws. They're making you feel like you're useless. They're making you feel like you don't understand them, that anything you do is not fulfilling them. It's not, fulfilling their needs, their wants, and you just don't get it. You just don't get them. Okay. They flip everything around. They gaslight you. And then they're pretty much coming down on you. And what happens? All of that builds up. All of that builds up. That boiling water is pushing you to the top of the pot. And what do you end up doing? You end up pouncing. And when you pounce, because you just can't take it anymore, because you can't take any more of the lashings, then they try to basically flip it around and deflect onto you. I wouldn't be acting this way towards you if you didn't give me a reason to. I wouldn't be saying these things to you or making you, pointing out all of your flaws and your problems and your issues if you didn't give me a reason to. You find yourself literally after that whole entire thing, by the end of the night, you find yourself apologizing to them for reacting towards their abuse, their abusive behaviors. I've been there. Let me tell you something. I have been in a situation where I reacted because I got so fed up, and I reacted to the point that that person looked at me like, holy crap, where did that come from? Because I was always being so nice. I was always being the voice of reason. I was always being the one that was willing to conform. I'll change okay, this person doesn't like this about me, I'm going to change it. They don't like this situation, I'm going to change it. I was always willing to clean up and change everything to accommodate that person. And little did you know, subconsciously, that stuff is building up. That stuff is just building up. It's building up. And to the point where you can't take it anymore, that you blow up. Let that be around people, right? Because when they do the covert abuse, oh, how many of you are familiar with that covert abuse? When they're doing things in front of people, but they're doing it covertly, right? So we're going to basically couple that with all of the bull crap that goes on in the privacy of your own home, that goes on in your conversations throughout the weeks, text messages and phone conversations and the arguments and everything. Let's couple that with the covert abuse where they're insulting you, they're making you feel inadequate, they're making you feel alone in a room full of people, mind you, okay? And they're doing things underhandedly. They're doing things in front of people. People are not paying attention to it because they're looking at it as there's nothing wrong. And you react. You react in public, in front of everyone. You react in front of them. And they see your reaction. They're not seeing what the other person is doing. They're not hearing, like really truly listening to what the other person is saying. They're not listening to the snide remarks or the underhanded insults or, the pretty much deteriorating your confidence. They're not witnessing any of that. All they're seeing is, because everybody is all quiet until the victim reacts. They do this purposely, because they need other people to see you as being unstable, you as being overly emotional, overly sensitive. So if they're cracking jokes, they're making jokes. And the jokes, everybody's like, oh, come on, leave her alone. Oh, leave him alone. Stop joking around. You're just playing. You play too much, whatever. They're not looking at it as, you're really hurting this person's feelings, because the victim is the only one who can really truly feel that sting. These people don't understand that. They're too busy just being absorbed in whatever else is going on. Yes, Freckled, yes, the jokes are backhanded. When they joke about you in front of people, when they reveal like embarrassing things about you in front of people, or if they say things in front of people that, that reflects negatively towards you, but they say it in a way where it's pretty much, it's masked, right? It's pretty much like coded. It's coded with the idea that they have, like if, for example, they're mentioning something about you, your health, and you didn't want anybody to know about what's going on with your health, right? You didn't want anyone to know. Maybe it might be something really private, and you didn't want anybody to know about it. What they'll end up doing is they'll end up talking about what is wrong with you, your health, what is literally wrong with your health, when you clearly don't want anyone else to know about it. And they do that because they're basically, they want people to know the situation, but they also want people to know what they're doing to try to remedy the situation, making them out to appear like they're the hero, Like they're the, the best girlfriend, the best boyfriend. Oh, what would you do without me? Whether it be your mother or your father, just to gain that supply of recognition, admiration, adoration, or they will embarrass you in front of people. They will say or do things that are, and you sit there and you're kind of like, okay, you crack a little smile, but deep down inside, that shit hurts. And it's like, damn, you're embarrassing me in front of these people, and you don't even realize it. The fact of the matter is, they do realize it. They know. They know that it's hurting you. And if you try to, respond, or even if you try to pull them to the side, they may, depending on the type of narc you're dealing with, they may blow it out of proportion, or they may just, make it, say it loud enough for other people to hear, and that, oh, you're too sensitive. I was just joking. We were standing over there having a good time. I was just joking around, and now you're trying to ruin my whole night. Now you're trying to ruin, it's all about them. It's all about them. You're trying to ruin their night. They're insulting you. You bring it to their attention, but you are trying to ruin their night. Does that make sense at all? No. So what happens? That boiling water pretty much tips you over, tips you out of the pot, and you become reactive. You become reactive, and because it's around other people, they'll play the victim. They'll play the victim. They know how to play the victim very well. They'll play the victim. So now everybody's looking at you like, oh gosh, you're where did that come from? Or you're violent, or you're emotionally, and they may even, because they think that they're doing right by the narcissist, they may even sit there and try to give the narcissist advice. Maybe this person's a little emotionally unstable, and maybe you should, consider being with somebody else, or, they know what the hell they are doing. This is all embedded within their tactics, within the things that they do. And all it leaves is you, the victim, now survivor. All it leaves is you appearing to be someone that you are not. I'm sorry. Hold on a second. Yes, Freckle, manipulative behavior and throw the good things they do for you in your face. And if you notice, a lot of the time, if they do good things for you, if they do, if they buy you gifts, or they do all kinds of, whatever, they do it, so people acknowledge, people can see with their own two eyes all of the things that they do for you. Okay. And this is a way to lord shit over your head. Okay, well, I did this for you, and I did that for you, and and if you fail to come through on one little thing for them, or if it's something that, if you're like, listen, I just can't become a part of that. I can't do this. I can't do that. All of a sudden you're disloyal. You're not loyal to them. You're not, you're not a friend, or you're not really their partner, or, what you're supposed to be my family, especially with that family card. It's like, you're supposed to basically have my back regardless of anything. Whether I'm right or wrong, you're supposed to have my back. Okay? You're always supposed to have my back. But at the end of the day, if it were you who needed them, oh, I don't have the time to do it. Oh, I got other things going on. I can't do it for you. Because if it doesn't benefit them, if the situation is not going to bring them any kind of benefit in the end, they're not really going to come through for you. They're not going to come through for you. The only time that I can configure a narcissist would actually do something outside of themselves is if they're going to face criticism, or they're going to face some form of judgment. And they can't handle, the idea of people pointing fingers at them or having their eyes on them, in a negative light. It's all about image. That's always the way it has been. And that's why I explain to everyone, when you've dealt with a narcissist, or if you dealt with an extremely manipulative person, if you look back after your discard, and they're showing, a whole new life, a whole new world, you know what I'm saying, with someone else, thinking that, what is it, Aladdin? That's Aladdin, right? That song? Aladdin. Okay. Just wanted to make sure. I was just checking. But they're portraying that whole entire life. Image is everything for them. And I've explained this before. They're not going to show you when they're doing bad in their life. They're not going to show anyone when they're doing bad in their life because they worry about criticism. They worry about people judging them. They go based on what other people think. They go based on what everyone else thinks. So if you had been discarded and you see them move on to the next person, that, because let me tell you something. I'm going to tell you something right now, guys. Okay? I'll give a trigger warning too. They've already moved on to someone else while they were still with you. They've already opened that door while they were still with you. They're basically overlapping. So what they're doing is, while they're still with you, they're going to keep a distance. They're going to hold a distance. But if you notice, they're slowly detaching. Things are starting to change more. They're getting more colder. They're getting more distant. That's because what they're doing is now they're focusing their time, they're focusing their attention on someone else. Whether it be an ex, whether it be someone new, whether it be, anyone, they're focusing that on. So they have to still maintain a presence, but not the same type of presence they had in your life when you guys first got together or even in the middle of your relationship. Give me 1 second. Eliza, do you think it's normal to start to feel like you're the narc when they're clearly the narc? It is normal because they've managed to convince you that you're narcissistic. You're the narcissist. You have the problem, not them. When you ask them to compromise, right? Or if you ask for the basics in a relationship, they flip it around and they say you were trying to control them. Okay? That person was trying to control me. They were trying to control every aspect of my life and everything that I do and who I'm around and so forth and so on. Now, if they sat there and told you, I don't want you being around person A, okay? Do not be around person A for whatever the reason is, okay? Out of loyalty for you, I'm not going to be around person A. But now if you see person B and you tell them, I don't want you to be around person B. Well, what did person B do? What's the problem? I don't understand. And you thought it wasn't even a matter of questioning. I did for you because I'm loyal to you. And if you're telling me for a reason. I trust you. That was your aspect. That was your aspect of things. But them, if you question them and you say, listen, can you not talk to this person? I have my reasons. Please don't talk. But what did they do? What did they do that I can't talk to them? It's always do as I say, not as I do. So if you try to get the basics out of them, you try to say, listen, we have to meet halfway, or where is this going, or what's going on, or if you ask questions, or whatever the case may be, you're trying to control them. You're trying to control their freedom. You're trying to strip them of their freedom. You're trying to take away from them because you're being too clingy, you're being too demanding, you're expecting too much, when the reality was you weren't expecting too much, guys. You wanted the basics. And what did they do? In the beginning of your relationship, they gave you a little bit more than the basics. That's the love bombing, right? They were giving you more. They were kind of spoiling you. They were kind of spoiling you in the beginning because it was all seeming like this is great. This is nice. I love being around this person. I want to see them again. I want to be around them more. They made you want to be around them more. And then what happened? Slowly, as time went on, that started to decrease. So when you start questioning, what the heck happened from we were up here and now we're down here? So what happened in that gap? Now it's, what are you talking about? You're hallucinating, you're imagining things. I'm still here, aren't I? I'm here. Can't you just be happy that I'm here? Can't you just be happy that, that we're together? And they start to just throw all types of nonsense at you. Like if you're being unbearable, you're being unreasonable, you are demanding too much. No, it's like the rise before the fall. The rise was the love bombing, in that they were making you feel like you were on top of the world. And little did you know that, you know how the roller coaster gets to the top and then it makes that drop? That's exactly what it was. And that's exactly how your relationship is. It's correlated with the roller coaster because it's always going to be up and down. It's always going to be up and down, swirls, all types of stuff, and you don't know what to expect. It's like being blindfolded, blindfolded on a roller coaster because you don't know what to expect. You never know what to expect with these people. Okay? For those who learned a lot, and who basically educated themselves and actually went to therapy and started working on their healing, you guys already know what to expect. You know the things to look for, you know the red flags and all of that. But for those who are just now going through a discard, who don't really understand the basics or don't understand what they're enduring, it's important that you really, really do the research and get the help that you need, because you can end up going right back into these cycles again, either with the same person or different people, but with the same types of personalities, the same types of characteristics. Oh, Tim, I'm working on 2 books. I'm actually working on them now, and I have so much more that I'm going to do, so much more, because, I used to be codependent. I had severe codependent issues. Any of you who have suffered codependency, trust me, you're not alone in this situation. So if you've gone through several cycles with the same type of people, or you have gone through several cycles with the same person, okay? Primarily, that's probably due to, the level of dependency, codependency, which we all have certain forms of codependency within ourselves, but some of us have it more severe than others. And, just simply put, codependency is just where it's fear-based. You have a fear of being alone. You have a fear of abandonment. You have a fear of rejection. Okay, being rejected. Nobody wants to be rejected. No one wants to be rejected. But there is that fear. There's a severe fear. It's almost like, when someone has a phobia, people tend to laugh and say, oh, you're scared of bugs, or you're scared of heights, or you're scared of, but it's a real phobia. Codependency is the same thing. It's a real fear-based program, just like narcissism is. Let me see. Oh, Zuki, yes. Yes, it is. Yes, it is. Because you expect them. You expect them to, you know, be considerate. You expect them to be kind, because that is what you would project onto people. What you project onto people. See, we walk outside, our everyday lives. We walk outside saying to ourselves, what I give, I'm going to get in return. Right? And that's what we do. We go outside being good people. We go outside projecting the nice parts of ourselves onto other people, and we expect that in return. However, other people have other motives. They have other alternatives. Narcissists, number one, narcissists go for the kind of people that are caring, that are giving, okay, that are, loving, people pleasers, okay? They go for the kind of people that will make them look good, that will make them look good as far as a public aspect. So if you are the type of person that has, you got some status, or you have like some popularity, rest assured you would be a target for narcissistic people. They come like a wolf in sheep's clothing. They'll appear very humble. They'll appear very enamored with you. They will, they'll probably tell you everything that you want to hear. And once they get that position in your life, then they're opportunists. They'll utilize that position to gain opportunity until they've either gotten bored with you, or their mask is pretty much, it's slipping to the point that not only do you see it, not only do you recognize, certain bad behaviors, but you decide to discard them. And of course, we know what happens if you discard a narcissist. We already know what happens. Okay. They don't take rejection very well. They really don't take rejection well. All right. So if you reject a narcissist, I can tell you right now, you can be prepared to have to deal with all of the BS that comes behind them. Bobby, I'm speaking in all aspects, male and female. Male and female. Female narcissists, male narcissists, they play the same game. They all play the same game. Their motives, each of their motives may be, may vary, but they all play the same game. Female narcissists, however, have a higher possibility, higher chance of being more detrimental in relationships than male narcissists. And it's crazy because male narcissism, it's the studies have basically said that narcissism is found more in men, more common in men than it is in women. I don't really know how true that is. I'm going to be honest with you. I personally don't think that to be true. That's my honest opinion. Okay. I'd have to do more research. And unless I can interview every single woman or every single man, and even so, narcissists, listen, they don't go for help. Okay. They're not the type to go for therapy. They're not the type. If there are any that do, very, very few, very minimum. But a lot of them are not the types. And even so, they have the ability to manipulate therapists. They have the abilities to manipulate psychiatrists and psychologists. Okay? It's not even a matter of, and it's not like you can take blood from them. You take blood and it gives you a, narcissist positive or narcissist negative. It's a personality disorder. So because it's a personality disorder, it's really, it's undetectable, which is why a lot of people have managed to fall for these people. It's only after the fact, after you've gone through it, that you understand and you recognize the patterns and the signs and the red flags. Yes, I do, Astro. I speak on covert narcissism, overt, vulnerable, invulnerable. I speak on the different types of narcissists, cerebral, somatic, malignant, sociopathic. There are so many different types and there are so many different personalities. And, listen, we all, guys, I mentioned this before too, we all have different aspects of our personalities. We don't just have one set personality. We have different facets. Narcissists, however, especially those who are diagnosed as NPD, they live under the classifications of what a narcissist is, which is someone who is pretty much, they're basically, the kind of people who put their needs ahead of others. Okay. They're very self-absorbed people. Okay. They lack empathy because of the lack of emotional connection that they've received as children. Okay. We're all born empathetic. We are all born empathetic. I don't care what anyone tells you. Okay. And when we are born and we are, raised as children, the personalities that are projected onto us are actually the personalities that we're living with until we actually decide to take it upon ourselves to just kind of recreate ourselves. Think about it. If you have a narcissist mother who, has a child and has given that inconsistency, that hot and cold behavior, that's going to build something within the child. It's going to build a certain type of fear, which is why narcissist parents can create different types of children, because it depends on how the children internalize the behaviors of their parents. So if you have a mom who's like, I love you one minute, but then I don't the next, that's creating that inconsistency. That's causing anxiety within the child. If, a narcissist child differs from a codependent child, though both can come from a narcissist mother. The codependent child is the one that is just like, oh my gosh, I'm scared. And they try to latch on to the mother as much as possible. They try to hold on because they're afraid. A narcissist child will pretty much be like, hey, you know what? I guess I got to do this on my own. This is how I have to do it. I have to be self-sufficient. I got to be self-serving because you're my mother and you're not even doing it for me. So I guess I got to do it for myself. They both go the opposite directions. Absolutely. Um, the algorithm, oh, that's a long name. It's not to be excused. They make the choice to bully you. They choose to wear the mask to others. No, everything that's done is a choice. Everything that's done is a choice. Narcissistic or not, everything that we do in this world is based on choice. Okay? No one put a gun to their heads. No one told them, no one put a gun to their head and said, you better go and lead these people on. You better go and manipulate these people. You know when you're lying to someone. You know when you are lying to someone, right? Let's just use an example. If you had dealt with a narcissist and they told you, I need $400 to pay my rent. And you give them $400 to pay their rent because you're trying to help them out. They end up using that $400 to take someone else out for a night on the town. You lied. You know what you're doing. Okay? When they were gaslighting you during your discard, if they're gaslighting you, when you're telling them, listen, be honest with me. Are you seeing someone else? Are you dealing with someone else? Are you talking to someone else? Are you talking to different people privately, behind my back? Are you doing these things? And they're telling you, no, you're crazy. You don't know what you're talking about. You see, this right here is why this will never work out. But then you find out later on that was the truth, that was actually the case. It was actually what they were doing. They were gaslighting you. They were lying to you. They were aware of what they were doing. Anybody who listen, I don't give a damn if they didn't come in with motives. I don't care if they did not come in and plan it out, okay? If they didn't blueprint it out. I don't care about that. But the minute I ask you a question, and the minute you tell me it's one thing, when in actuality it's something else, that is a lie, and you were aware that you were lying to me. So at the end of the day, they can come to you and say, I have mental issues. Yeah, well, we know that. We know that. You have issues, but it's not excusable. My dad used to beat me. My mom used to beat me. And, that's why I do these things. Well, I'm sorry, honey. You can't use that as an excuse because you just clearly pointed out how aware you are of your behaviors. You're just now trying to excuse them. Now, oh, yes, unbothered. And they can be very calculated when they want something, extremely calculated when they want something. Okay. This is why, if you guys noticed in my last video, I said narcissists try to trap you. They try to keep you stuck. Okay. They try to trap you. They try to keep you stuck. And the reason is it's not because they love you. It's not because they're in love with you. It's not because they want to try to make it work and they want to be a part of your life and you guys have, happily ever after together. No, it's for none of those reasons. Okay. They try to trap you. They try to keep you stuck so they can keep control in your life. If they give you a kid, or if they get a kid from you, they have control over your life, because even if you guys are not together, you're not in the same home, you're not in the same neighborhood, even if you guys are not together, they will use the child as a pawn to either hurt you on the spot or to suck you back in so they can recycle you, they can love bomb you, repeat all of that nonsense. That's the only reason why. Because if you notice, let me tell you something, narcissist mothers, even narcissist fathers, they don't bond with their children. So if you guys have children with a narcissist, you'll notice the difference of their bonding with your child or your children and yourself. You'll notice a big difference. Okay? If you bring, like, for example, if your kids come over and, what did you do for the week? Oh, nothing, we just stayed home, watch movies and cartoons and blah, 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 whatever. Oh, so did you do anything with your mom, or did you do anything with your dad? No, they were too busy, hanging out or going out with their friends, or, just taking pictures for Instagram or Facebook or whatever. That's what they were doing. But if you notice, because if that connection isn't there with them and their kids, and these people are extremely narcissistic, they're the first ones to put photos of themselves and their children and plaster it all over to appear to the world that they're the world's greatest parent. Narcissist parents, they bank on appearing to be the cool parent. Okay? They want the status of being a cool parent. That's what they want to do. They don't give a damn about spending time with the children, connecting with them. Because to be honest with you, and I'm going to be 110% honest with you guys, they didn't really want the kids. But how else are they going to control you? How else are they going to control you? If they have children, they'll either, a lot of them end up abandoning their kids. They think, oh, okay, I'm gonna have a child, and and because they're getting so much attention, I think a lot of them, and listen. I mean, I can, say what you will, but I'm gonna say it like this. I think a lot of them end up carrying a baby, like the female narcissists. They carry babies. They have the baby showers and everything. I think it's for the attention. I think it's solely for the attention, because pregnant women, yes, you get a lot of attention. You get attention from family. You get attention from the person that you're with. You get, it's just pretty much, I'm in the spotlight, and I get stuff. I get free stuff. I get all kinds of things. But if you really, really think about these types of mothers, these are the type of mothers who don't really want to give up their freedom. They don't want to give up their freedom, and no child is going to stop that. You see, and when if you look back at everything, especially, listen, like I said, if you guys know for a fact, the signs, the traits, and everything is there, it's there. It presents itself to you in real life, but you see what they're doing online. You ever heard that saying? Be careful what you post, because people in real life know who you are. They know what you're really about. And they will sit there and literally act. That's all they're doing. They're acting. They're acting like they're a great mom. They're acting like they're a great dad, but they don't really have any kind of relationship with their kids. Which is why some of their kids either end up being, they'll provide for their kids, yes, on a material level, yes. They will provide for their kids. They'll fend for their kids, yes. But there's no emotional connection. There's no psychological connection. Okay? Everything has got a barrier in between. And when the children reach a certain age, those children are used. They're utilized to work for the narcissist. Okay? So we understand that. So now let's look at it this way. If this is how they can treat their own flesh and blood, the children that they have given life to, okay? And throughout the years, it doesn't just stop there, guys, because it goes on when the kids are much older, when they reach adulthood, okay? When they reach adulthood, because now there's this, I took care of you, and now you got to take care of me. And if you don't do it, or if you, because you won't fulfill that obligation, that's an obligation they put on you, by the way, then what happens? You're abandoning them. You are abandoning me. You're abandoning me. So you're going to abandon me? You're going to leave me behind? Meantime, everything and anything you have done throughout your life was to take care of them. If you notice the kind of, especially for a lot of you who have narcissistic parents, narcissistic behaving parents. I mean, listen, they could be a narcissist, they could be extremely narcissistic, or they could just be emotionally detached, who are manipulators. If you notice that you end up in the kinds of cycles with the people that reflect your parents, you're ending up in relationships with people who reflect the same type of relationships you had with your parents, because it's familiar to you. The beginning it's nice, it's cool, but the behaviors, there's a familiarity there. It's familiar to you. And if you're codependent, you latch on because you have fear of abandonment. And the crazy part about it is narcissists have fear of abandonment too, which is why they discard you first before you discard them. They fear that abandonment. They fear people rejecting them. So to kind of make themselves feel good, to kind of make themselves feel like, I let you go. I got rid of you. You didn't get rid of me. to have a story to tell their friends, to have a story to tell people, to make themselves appear to be, the one who got away. I got away from that abusive relationship. All the while you being reactive to their abuse, but they were trying to paint you out to be the abuser. I snapped one time when I was with my ex, and it was because I just got tired. I got so tired. I was putting wallpaper like on the counter. I was just setting up the wallpaper. And because I got so tired of the arguing, we kept arguing over the stupidest things. And he was listen, that man was paranoid throughout my entire relationship. He was extremely paranoid and constantly questioning me. And he was being very cold and very mean and very hurtful and very detached. And he was he would be rude. During times when we would have gatherings, he would be rude to me in public. And I would, instead of me standing up to him and talking back and saying, no, you don't talk to me like that, I'm sitting here saying, but what did I do? But what's the problem? What's the matter? I automatically associated his nasty attitude, his bad behaviors. I automatically associated that with something that I had done wrong. Meantime, I didn't do anything wrong. And what I would get in return was, well, what is it that you think you did wrong? And maybe I'll let you know, if that's it. Like trying to get information out of me. And I'm like, and mind you, if you guys have a clear conscience, you have a clear heart, you have a clear mind, you can't sit there and ponder what it is that you did wrong. But every single time something happened, like if you got on the phone with them or if you went out places or what have you, they would just, there was always this moment of having a nasty attitude. That person would never, and if he was in a good mood, it was when he was around other people. It was when he was around his friends, whom were the kind of friends that, they just drank. They drank and hung out and, chilled and all of that, because it was settings, it was places where he could be himself. He could be free. It's kind of like when I don't know if you guys have gone through this, where if you come around people, yes, you would agree for the sake of argument, that too. But if you can went around people, like people who were associated with them, right? Friends, other family members, people who, I mean, listen, nobody means really too much to them. Like they don't really mean as much to them. But if they went around people who could pass judgment on them or possibly really criticize them if they saw beyond their mask, if they brought you around them, they were a totally different person. There were times we would go out and we would be around his friends and I couldn't recognize the person I was with. I didn't recognize the person I was with. We had spent so much time arguing and I'm trying to reason with him. I'm trying to understand, why are you upset? Why are you mad? What did I do now? What now? What now? It was always something. But the minute we go to a friend's gathering, or if we went out, somewhere and did something with other people outside of the relationship, they were a totally different person. Smiling and laughing and goofing around and having a good time and enjoying. And it's like, but then when you get in the car and you go home, they're right back to being that same person again. And there was no winning. There was no winning. You could not win with them unless you did something that stroked their ego and soothed their insecurities. You had to be on point with that. You couldn't do anything out of place. You couldn't do anything that would remotely make them insecure or make them jealous or get them pissed off or trigger them or what have you. Because you could have been walking down the block and just made a right look. Look to your right real quick and back. What are you looking at? Oh, you were looking at that person over there? Huh? Was that the person you were looking at? Is that the one you want? Then why don't you go to them? Why don't you go? And it just throwing stuff at you and you don't know where the heck that came from. You don't know where it came from. And you're like, what are you talking about? You want to see a certain kind of movie? Ladies, if you wanted to see, let's say, Magic Mike, you wanted to see that movie, right? Listen, let's face it, you're a woman. Yeah, men are appealing to the eyes. You want to go see that movie, and you tell them, I want to go see, come on, let's go see Magic Mike. Those are the kind of guys you want, huh? You want guys like that it's a freaking movie, bro. Like, what is the problem? It's because you were hitting certain insecurities within them without even realizing it, guys, and it was not your fault. So please don't sit there blaming yourself, but you were hitting insecurities within them, and they were basically taking it out on you based on some form of trauma that they had experienced long before you ever came into the picture. Oh, trust me, guys, I know. I know. I've been there. And then what do? They try to use your insecurities against you. So you may hit their insecurities incidentally, accidentally. You don't try to do things on purpose, but they will purposely try to use your insecurities against you to get a reaction out of you, to get you to react, because they want to see how much you care about them. They want to see how much you're willing to conform to what I want you to be. So what do? What will they do? They'll sit there and say, oh, well, how would you feel if, I went to a strip club? Or, well, I'm going to go with my boys, knowing, because listen, guys, how many of you has shared stories with them? How many of you has sat there and really shared a story with them, or shared, your background with them? Maybe you guys had a history of infidelity. Maybe you guys were dealing with people who were just completely being, they were completely cheating on you and doing all kinds of craziness, right? And they know that you do somewhat have trust issues, but you're trying to see beyond that, because you wouldn't be with them if you weren't, right? You would not be with them if you weren't trying to see beyond your trust issues. But what do? They'll try to use your insecurities against you to get you to react. And it's like they're trying to make you jealous. So I'm going to go to a strip club, and, we're going to go do this and that. And it's like, okay, like, knowing, and I'm not saying they have to appease you, because, guys, you don't have to control someone else. You really don't have to do that. But think about it. Think about it for a second. If you were dealing with someone who was considerate of you and the things you have gone through before, they would not try to sit there and use your insecurity or use something against you. Rather, they would try their best to say, something, I know this person has been through some stuff, and even though I'm not doing anything wrong, out of courtesy and respect for this person, I'm not going to do this, or I'm going to ask them, and if they say they're not comfortable with it, then I'll respect it. But these types of people, they're the type of people that will just pretty much be like, well, you're going out with your girlfriends, you're going to go hang out, you're going to go do this, you're going to go do that, you're going to get away for a little bit, all right, cool. I'm going to a strip club. Or vice versa, because it could be the other way around too, fellas. It's not just the women, but it could be the other way around too. And they will try to pretty much exploit your insecurities, using them as ammo against you, trying to put that seed in your head. So it can instill fear, the fear of, abandonment, the fear of, the possibilities of what can happen if they're not in your presence, whatever. They'll plant that seed, and then you're sitting there feeling inadequate, feeling like you got to do more to keep their attention, to keep them in. Nonsense. Pure and utter nonsense. Robert says, I'd rather go to. Yeah. I'm sorry about that, guys. I just got to plug my. But it's not, and it's not even the matter of, and that's just the thing, guys. If you tell them, listen, out of respect for me, can you not do this? Can you not do that? Or, I listen, you know how I feel about this? Can we maybe compromise? No, it's, you don't want me to do anything. You want me to just sacrifice everything for you. I had a life before I met you, and now you're trying to run and control that. Let me tell you something, and let me make this clear for everyone to understand. When you get into a relationship with someone, it's no longer I, okay? It is no longer I. There is no I in we. Okay? If that's the case, stay single. Stay single. But when you get into a relationship with someone, that means you have intention on something growing, the two of you together. But the behaviors that these people show you, it's clear that they were holding on to their autonomy the entire time. They had all intention on keeping that full, and by full autonomy, I mean being non-committal. They were not trying to commit to you. They were not trying to commit to the relationship. You were too much work. Mind you, the basics is considered too much work for them. So what do? Okay, this is becoming too much work for me. This is getting boring now. Now I can't play the game like I used to. So now they're going to go on the hunt. Now that when they realize that, you know what, it's time, it's discarding season. It's time to start the discard process. They go on the hunt. Okay? And you'll start noticing differences in their behaviors. The things that they never did before, they start doing them now. Okay? The things they would argue with you about, or the things they didn't want you doing, because they've already torn down your confidence. They've already made you feel insecure with their bullshit. They've already gotten you to the point that you're ripping your hair out of your head. All right, my job here is done. So now, what are they going to do? Now they're going to start doing things because now they feel good about themselves. Tearing you down feels good. It makes them feel good about themselves. So now that all this is done, you're pretty much useless to me, because now you're this little weakling. You're this little weak person who weeps and cries over every little thing, and who's constantly just trying your hardest to prove yourself to me. Now you're becoming boring for me. So now I have to find someone else. Now I have to find someone, or, it could be a group of people, guys. These people will do anything, even if it means just, because their egos are being stroked. And they end up building that connection somewhere else. They end up building that connection, but they don't end it with you. They don't end it with you. Okay? To discard means to throw away, to toss, right? They throw you in the trash, but at some point, they leave you there because they have all intention on picking you up and putting you into the recycle bin. Okay? They don't close things off with you. They don't end things with you completely. They don't give you closure. Guys, if you're looking for closure, please, I'm going to tell you right now, especially if they know that you want closure, you want some kind of finality to this, take it for what it is. Take it for what it is. Because if you have narcissists who are sitting there knowing that you want closure, they will make you sit there and not tell you anything. They will make you sit there and have that control over you, over your emotions. I'm telling you right now, you will not get closure with them. They have no intention on closing things. And if they try to hit you up and say, oh, well, you know what? Let's meet up so I can give you your closure. That's not to give you closure, guys. That's to try to hoover you back in. Only green apples? Yep. They only want to keep you as supply. That's it. And if you have gone through the cycles over and over and over again, the account of your trauma bond with that person, your trauma bond was pretty much, because it's deeply rooted. It's deeply rooted, guys. So all they have to do is, especially if the discard, like after the discard, post discard, the time frame wasn't too long, meaning that you're still kind of in your emotions, you're still kind of, you're still kind of feeling it. The wound has not healed clearly, especially if you don't get closure. And for anyone, like I said, looking for closure, you have to create your own. You have to create your own closure. You cannot sit there expecting these people to come, and they were very careless with your heart. They were very careless with your feelings. They were careless with everything. And to think that they will come back and say, you know something, I owe you that much. I'll give you closure. It will not happen. It will not happen. Because in their eyes, they don't owe you anything. Their perception is, you can't handle the fact that I just don't want to be with you. even though I'm not giving you proper closure in this situation. I don't want to be with you right now. Okay? That's their perception. I don't want to be with you right now. I found something else that sparks my interest, because they're the kind of people who always got to have something new. Something new has to come in. Something has to keep them flowing, keep them going. Okay? Keep the excitement. They like excitement. They like exciting, new, shiny new things. That's their attitude. That's their attitude. And when they're done playing with those shiny new things, and they want something a little more familiar, they want something a little more, on the strength of what it was that you supplied them with in your relationships, then they'll try to come back to you. They'll try to come back to you, and they'll try to run the, hey, listen, I know that things ended badly, and, and if they apologize to you, you better believe it's because they want something. If you have not received an apology, I don't care how long ago the discard happened. If you have not received an apology, if they have not come to you, chances are they're either A, still embedded with their new supply, okay, which is why they haven't come around. B, they know that you're going to reject them, which is why they aren't going to come around. Because a narcissist, they will only apologize to you. And let me tell you right now, it's not sincere, but they will apologize to you if they know that there is a chance that they can worm their way right back into your life. Otherwise, if they know for sure that you are probably going to reject them, they can't handle that. They cannot handle that. That can inflict narcissistic rage. They can get, they can become something else. But if they know for a fact that you are not willing to be open to them coming back or open to having a new relationship with them, if they know that, they're not going to apologize to you. They won't come around you. They'll probably just watch you. They'll watch you. They'll watch your social media. They may, I don't know, depending on where you live, they may watch your home. They may drive by your house. They may monitor you, spy on you. They'll do all of these things, but they won't step forward. Because if there's a chance that you're not going to take my apology and you're not going to let me back in your life, why should I apologize? That goes to show how selfish they are. That goes to show how selfish and apathetic they are. That they don't even have the decency to apologize to you, to say, I'm sorry for what I caused you, the pain. They know the pain they caused you. They know all of that. They don't care. That's their thing. What do you want me to do? It happened. What's in the past is in the past. You can't change the past. That's their perception of it. Well, you can't change the past. No, you can't. But it doesn't mean that you can't move forward in the present. They won't do it. Oh, breathing courage. Shoot, mine send me back my pictures. They were slightly crumbled. Yeah. I listen, guys, if you guys have anything of theirs, here's another thing. If you have anything of theirs in your home, in your, what have you, send it back. Go to a UPS, go to a FedEx, put it in a package, and send it back. Do not keep anything of theirs for them to come around and say, oh, I'm just here to pick up my favorite sweater that, I always wore. I left it here. I'm here to pick up my toothbrush. Oh, I'm here to pick up my toothpick. No. Anything that is theirs that you have in your possession, you have to send it back. And I'll do you one better. Anything they gave you, send it back with them. Or throw it away. Throw it away, get rid of it, what have you. Throw it out. Okay? Because in order to, and that was the one thing I did after everything happened. I packed everything in a box. I packed everything that was given to me in a box, and I gave it back to the person. I don't want anything, because I knew at some point, even though it was back and forth, I went through the back and forth stages with this person, guys. It wasn't just a quick 1, 2, 3, we're done, it's over. No, it was months. The discard ran for months. It ran for months because I was being breadcrumbed. And this person, let me tell you something. Everything I was going through, the emotional, the roller coaster, everything did not mean a damn thing to this person. Are they a changed person now? Don't know. Don't give a shit because I don't talk to them. Okay? I don't bother with him. I don't talk to him. I don't look for him. I changed my number. I do not bother with him or anyone who's affiliated with him. Don't bother with any of them. But at the time I was going through the motions that I went through, I saw everything. Because if you're in the addiction stage, you're looking for stuff. You're looking for things, okay? We've all been there. And I was looking through his social media, yeah. And when I brought something to his attention and I'm like, oh, why are you doing this? Like, we hadn't even been broken up that long and already, what did I get? I got cursed out. I got lashed, like, completely. Like, if his words, okay, would to lash my back would probably still be scarred. Okay? I got cursed out. I got called a stalker. It's like, he's like, you're fucking, why are you stalking my shit? Why are you doing this and why are you doing that? If you don't be looking through my shit then and blah, blah, blah. I got everything. Everything. It went from being in love in a relationship with someone that I thought was my soulmate, my person, to being kicked out like I was an ugly stepchild. Like, get the F away from me. And every time I reached out to that person, I try to be cordial with them because it was hard letting go, guys. I know it's hard to let go. It was hard to let go. Every time I got on the phone with that person, it was like he could not stand to hear my voice. Like he was repulsed by me. And that was really hard for me to accept because I'm like, I didn't do anything to be treated this way, but it felt like he was repulsed. And you're in denial. A lot of you who gone through a discard, you're in denial at this stage. You're sitting there saying to yourself, what can I do to change this? What can I do to make it better? What can I do to get this person to see me again? What can I do to get them to be, be back in the presence like we were before? What can I do? What can I do? Your question should be, what the hell can I do to get the hell away from this? Because I already know that this shit is not gonna go the way it's supposed to go. And at the end of the day, I need to break free from this trauma bond because that's exactly what it is, guys, a trauma bond. I was sitting there trying to make it work, trying. I kept calling, I kept trying. And I'm like, please. And he's like, you're trying to force me to be with you. Like, literally, guys, it just, the flip of the switch, man. You're trying to force me to be with you. You're trying to make me be with you. And then he's like, no, and I remember his words clear as day. And I'm going to tell you what he said. I'm just not cut out to be in a relationship. That was what he told me. I'm just not cut out to be in a relationship. Mind you, okay, that's what he said. And I'm like, okay, wow. But he was breadcrumbing me because he kept texting me. He was reaching out to me. Granted, it wasn't consistent, like, each day, like when we were together, but he was messaging me. He was sending me random messages. He was popping up on me. Okay. If you're not meant to be in a relationship, you're not meant to do all of these things, then why are you popping up around me? Why are you? And I didn't think of it that way. I was thinking of it as, oh, maybe he's coming around. Maybe he's coming around. Maybe he's realizing. Maybe he saw the light and he's realizing that I'm the woman for him, that how much I love him and how much I care for him. And, maybe he's finally seeing Erica. No, homie was having fun. Homie was out drinking, enjoying his single life. And he was enjoying the fact that I was reacting to the way he was hurting me. He was drinking with his friends. He was partying. He was talking to his ex. Oh, yes. The ex came in the picture. I told you guys before. She came in the picture. There were other females that came out of nowhere. I don't even know where the heck these females came from. And they were all stroking his ego. And they were all, just coming around. They were coming around like, oh, how did all these girls come? Okay. And these females, let me tell you something. Let me tell you fellas a little something about some females. And ladies, you good women out there, you good ladies, you guys already know. I'm not referring to you. I'm going to tell you something about these little shady females. They will do anything to give indication that they're on top. And by that I mean, if you know you're privately speaking with someone, see, this is what I told you. This is shit I don't like. If you are messaging someone in private, right, and there's no indication or whatever, but I don't know what was going on with those conversations. But these females will sit there and write subliminally or write messages to indicate that you guys are talking or you guys are, like speaking beyond social media, speaking like in private or seeing each other. You understand? Let me tell you something, man. I truthfully say like this, because I know, and I'm going to make this clear to you guys. I know I'm being watched. I know for a fact that I'm being watched. And if it's not by this, just by this person, but it's more than likely by other people that surround this person. You should have caught me when I gave a fuck. That was my attitude. That's my attitude now. Catch me. You should have caught me when I cared. Because now I don't give a shit. I don't give a shit, guys. This is where you want to be, where you just don't give a shit. And I could talk about it freely without being triggered, without feeling some kind of way, without having an emotional outbreak or, just a burst of emotions and anger, because in the end, time does heal all wounds. It really, really does. And looking back, it just showed me that he was an opportunist. It showed me that Erica put him on the pedestal. Erica got his ego up there. I made him feel good about himself. I put him on a very high pedestal. And as I put him on that very high pedestal, people started noticing him. And when people started noticing him, they started giving him attention. And that attention was grabbing. That attention was new. That attention was, what did I say before? Exciting. New people, different people, various peoples, different outlets, different platforms, Instagram, Facebook. I don't know if he was going on dating sites, but it could have been a possibility. I don't know. All right. And this is all new. This is all new for someone who originally seemed pretty insecure with himself. But because I put them on a pedestal, you guys put them on a high pedestal, and what happens? They pretty much got the opportunity based on the pedestal you put them on. And now it's like, okay, I'm on this pedestal and I got people noticing me. What do I need with you? Yes, Robert said it perfectly. He forgot about you in the process, but for the convenience, he kept you around. I could not have said it perfect. I could not have said it better than you. Okay? And that's exactly what a lot of people have gone through. They forget about you in the process because they're too busy getting all of this attention and all of this, that it's like, and you're sitting there holding yourself because you don't know what to do with yourself. You don't know what to do with yourself. And all those nights when I was home, alone, in bed, crying. Okay. Oh, guys, I went through boxes and boxes of tissues. Boxes and boxes of tissues. Okay. I went through the withdrawals. I went through those. Woke up in the middle of the night, shaking beyond control. Shaking that I could not control it. Okay. I went through the whole phases of depression. Some people eat during depression, some people don't. I didn't eat. I was not eating. Smoking cigarettes and drinking coffee. That's all I was doing. Okay? My health was deteriorating. I was deteriorating. Like my mental health, my spiritual health, everything was deteriorating. And when I went online and I saw what he was doing, you know what he was doing? He was drinking. He was hanging out. He was having fun. He was talking to people. He was taking pictures. He was like, yeah, yeah. And he had all eyes on him. And I was at the bottom of the pit. holding on for dear life to whatever little sanity I had left, to the point that I considered suicide. This person didn't give a shit about me. And I'm going to tell you, that person did not give a shit about you. They did not love you. They loved the benefits. They loved your attention. They loved your cooperation. They loved what you could provide for them. They loved the fact that you complimented them, that you put their needs first. That's what they loved. They loved the things that you did for them. They loved everything else about you but you. You don't deserve that. They don't deserve you. There is a man out there praying for you. There is a woman out there praying for you. You just got to work on your healing so God can put you in their path because you're ready and you guys can be happily ever after. And when you do that, guys, you better make sure you pray to God for protection on that union. Make sure you pray to God to protect the relationship you have with the person who's going to love you, respect you, honor you, cherish you, value you, okay? Make sure you pray for protection and make sure your new partner can fight. Because I'm going to tell you right now, when you get into that new relationship and you get involved with someone else and you are in love and you're happy and you're enjoying your peace and you are just good, they will try to come back around. They will try to destroy that. And they will try their best. Because if they see you succeeding with someone else, they see that you're happy with someone else, especially if they're miserable, they will try their best. They will try their best to try to make you miserable. I'm telling you right now, okay? That time comes if I'm dealing with someone and that person's ex is a narcissist. Oh, I've been through the ringer. I'm going to tell you right now, I don't mind beating the bitch's ass. I really don't, especially if it means protecting my relationship. If it means protecting the union that I know was brought to me because I learned my lesson and I now know what love truly is. I not only know how to love with confidence, but I know how to be alone. I know how to, you know what, if this doesn't work out for me, this is not going to break me. It might bend me a little bit, but it's not going to break me because I learned from it. Breathing courage, you got this. Victor, thank you. You got this, breathing. You got this. I say if I die, what's he going to do? He's going to use me to get sympathy from the next woman. What I'm gonna say it again. I'm gonna say it for you guys. I'm gonna say it again. Okay? Do not kill yourselves. Do not put yourselves in your grave focusing on someone who will bring the next person to your funeral. You understand me? Do not do it. That person will end up coming to your funeral with another person on their arm, okay? Crying crocodile tears, fake crying. And why is that? Why is that? Because you're no longer here, which means that now they got to find somebody else to fill your spot. Now, 7 billion people on this planet, guys. 7 billion people on this planet. Don't trust and believe. Don't kill yourself. Don't kill yourself focusing on these people who are looking to get killed, because that's exactly what they're looking for. I'm sorry, I'm gonna say it. I'm gonna be the first to say it. Okay, maybe not the first, but I'm gonna say it. These people are looking to really come across someone who is not going to take that bullshit and can end up killing them. They can end up killing them because they think that what worked on you is going to work on the next person. They think that, oh, well, you know what? This worked on Jane, so this is gonna work on Miranda or whatever, you know. Little did they know, Miranda got a little bit of crazy in her. Okay? And she got a nice bat in her closet. Telling you guys. I'm telling you. They're not worth it. Yes, no, they're not worth it. You guys have so much more. You guys have so much more. And you know what the crazy part is? They're actually jealous of you. They're jealous of you. That's why they spend all that time eroding your confidence. That's why they spend all that time trying to tear you down. Because I'm eroding your confidence. That's why they spend all that time trying to tear you down. Because they're actually deeply insecure and jealous of you. No matter what in your life, your empathy, your sympathy, your personality, your outgoing, you're an outgoing person or you're a bubbly personality. Okay. What, I don't know, maybe some of you made more money than the other person. And it made them feel like, the level of jealousy that sat within them, they projected that onto you in hopes that you would internalize that and you would really reduce yourself. You reduced yourself for people who were going to eventually end up discarding you because you reduced yourself so much to the point that while you were reducing. No, you know what's the good analogy for it? Don't burn yourself. What is it? Don't burn yourself. Don't set yourself on fire. Don't set yourself on fire trying to keep other people warm. Took me a minute. Took me a little minute. Okay? Don't reduce your value. Don't reduce who you are. Don't reduce yourself for someone who would still just end up walking, because as much as you're reducing yourself and you're on the ground, they're going to step right all over you to go to the next person. Nah, man. Nah. It took me a while to realize that, guys. It took me a while to realize the pain, to realize what I endured, what I was dealing with. And listen, better late than never, right? Better late than never. And I could have gone. I could have caught revenge. I could have went out there. But let me tell you something. Revenge is for punks. I'm sorry, but revenge is for. It makes no sense. It makes no sense to catch revenge. You want to get revenge with these people? Show them the new version of yourself, and not by breaking no contact. Because, like I said, they're watching you anyway. So since they want to watch you, give them a show. Give them a show. You want to watch me so much? I'm going to give you a show. Okay? I'm going to move on with my life. I'm going to be a success. I'm going to make my money. I'm going to do better with myself, for myself, by myself. I'm not going to let anybody break my boundaries. That's the key thing. People think that, I need to go out there and sleep with that person's friend, or I need to go out there and do something horrible or hurt this person. No, no. Because these people are mentally unstable and you don't know what their capabilities are. Okay? A narcissist who's completely unstable, especially when they have rage and they have jealousy combined, or they're alcoholics, because you have different types. Very dangerous. Very, very dangerous. Your best bet is to walk away. Walk away. And for those who are dealing with the more pathological narcissists that are very dangerous, by those, who were institutionalized, or those who are like have endured physical domestic violence, break away, escape from that. But for everybody else who's dealt with the types that are just like, they're just more on the superficial scales, in that they're not as pathological, where the dangers are heightened. You have to just pretty much pick up your own pieces. God is going to take care of them regardless. Pick up your own pieces and focus on you. Okay? Because now you learned your lesson. All right. How many of you suffered codependency? Are you codependent now? I don't think so. Are you codependent? I'm not. I overcame my codependency. I overcame it with the quickness. No, well, not with the quickness, but efficiency. Okay? I overcame my codependency. And you have to continuously build. You got to continue to go. Keep going, guys. keep going. If you are still codependent, keep going. Okay? Train your mind. Train your mind. Keep doing the work. Listen, when I learned about my codependency, the one thing I asked myself was, I'm a codependent. What do I do from this point? Because when you acknowledge, you reach that fork in the road. What are you going to do? You're going to keep being a codependent, or are you going to try to change that? And I decided to change that. You guys can change it. Once you start to understand that, nobody's going to do for you what you can do for yourself. Okay? You guys have all the resources that you need. And I know it's scary. Breaking out of codependency, breaking out of patterns, breaking out of, certain behaviors that we've learned from childhood. It's scary. I know that. You fear the unknown. I get it. Trust me. But I'm living testimony. I made the conscious choice to break those cycles. I made the choice to walk away, and I made the choice to do the work on myself. And I enjoy my peace so much. You know that you have broken codependency, and I'm going to tell you, you broke codependency when someone decides, I don't want to be a part of this relationship anymore. There's the door. I'm not broken. I'm hurt. I'm a little bothered, but I'm not broken. I'm not broken. Because you now set those boundaries for yourself. You set the boundaries for yourself. You've managed to sustain emotional independence, and you managed to sustain self-love. So much to the point that if that person were to hurt you, the amount of self-love you have for yourself, you can lick your own wounds and you can find your way. Okay? It's just another bump in the road. That's it. That's all it is. Relationship issues will be nothing but little bumps in the road. When you suffer codependency, those are huge, huge, like potholes, that can do some serious damage. But when you have overcome it, the relationship issues you face in the future, they're just little bumps in the road. Like, okay, I can get over that. No speed bump. Nothing. That's where you want to be. That's where you want to get. Awandoi671. I hope I said your name right, hon. What if it's a family member? You mean like if the narcissist is a family member, or if it's a codependent family member? I just want to make sure so I can answer your question properly. Victor says, pray for your enemy to turn their bad way around so we won't have an enemy, and put it in God's hands. Something, and that's we do that. We pray. Unfortunately, a lot of our enemies have free will, because you have people who can endure, just like a really crappy life, like straight from, beginning to end, and still continuously be the crappy people they are. And they're just looking at it like, oh, I guess I got bad luck. Failing to understand that what they put out there is, they're reaping what they sow. This is how delusional they are, guys. They reap what they sow in life. Okay? So all the nasty, nasty BS and the abuse and everything that they do, they're actually receiving a lot of different things. Maybe not in the way you would want them to. I told you guys how it works with karma. Karma for a narcissist is not emotional pain like you felt. It's not the kind of pain that you would want them to go through. Okay, karma for a narcissistic individual is in different aspects, where it hurts them the most. It could be people rejecting them, people not wanting to deal with them. It could be job loss. It could be, loss of assets, finances, loss of a home. Okay. It could be loss of complete supply. This is considered karma for them, because at some point nobody's going to want to deal with them. And when they're facing this form of karma, it's a lot easier for their mask to slip and people to see them for who they truly are. The only reason a lot of people didn't see them for who they were was because when we were in relationships with them, we were too busy painting them out to be this beautiful masterpiece. Victims were painting the abusers to be heroes and lover boys and lover girls and the best things that happened to them, which is why a lot of people in the end don't really believe victims and survivors of abuse, because you witness a trauma bond, or you endured a trauma bond. These people were busy seeing the pristine picture you were creating for them on the outside, failing to understand that even when you were doing this, you were in that web. This wasn't conscious, oh, I know I'm being abused. Listen, you knew that the relationship was a bit toxic, in that we have relationship problems. That's the problem that a lot of toxic relationships have. They don't use the term toxic in a way. They use, we have issues. Listen, he explained to me why he put his hands on me. He explained to me why he yelled at me that way. She explained to me why she cheated on me. And I'm working on myself. I'm working on what? What? They give you all these and you're working on yourself. You're fixing it. You're fixing everything yourself. There's something wrong with that. That whole statement, there's something wrong with that. And people don't believe you because, which is kind of hard for them to believe. It's kind of hard for them not to believe that you're a bitter person, because of the fact that you were spending your relationship being the enabler. You were spending your relationship being the one who made everything look good on the outside, but deep down inside, it was just going really bad. It was just going really bad. But you were internalizing their abusive behaviors as your fault. You were taking that as it being your fault. You reacted to me. You stood up to me. You're abusing me. They gaslit you. When they gaslight you, they're altering your perception of the reality of the situation. They're altering your perception for you to perceive it the way they perceive it. So you will see where they're coming from. It's sick. It's sick, and it's very, very saddening. Let me go back for 1 second. Now, I want to say your name, and I'm trying to pronounce it out. So I'm gonna call you Awan671. Okay. Now, you said that if your family member is the one who is codependent, there are different levels of codependency in family dynamics. If you have parents who are codependent on you, if you have, children, if you're older and you have older children who are, still codependent on you, when it boils down to family, it's the same things as with narcissists. If you have family members who are codependent, they have to work on those codependency issues. Codependence can be, okay, and I'm not trying to sit here, and I'm not gonna, try to bash codependence, but at the same time, I have to call a spade on both sides. Okay, codependence can be manipulative. They can be very manipulative. Okay, because just like a narcissist, they want something in their favor too. However, let's just make this clear. Their intentions are not the same as a narcissist. But because their fear of abandonment kicks in, they may manipulate situations to avoid being abandoned. And it's not nearly anything like what a narcissist would do, but they may try to control situations. Codependents do try to control situations because of what they feel is best for other people. Okay, so it's like I'm trying to direct this whole situation because I think this would really be best for everyone in the situation. Narcissists are, I'm trying to control this situation because it's going to have an outcome that's going to come in my favor. There's a big difference. Okay, but codependents can be manipulative. And if they are codependent on you, financially, emotionally, sexually, whatever, if they are codependent on you, they will utilize manipulation as well. It has happened. It can be done. Either way, it's not healthy. It is very toxic too. Okay. So if you have someone in your family who is codependent, they have to learn how to work on their own independence on in every aspect of their life. If they don't, you have no choice. You might have to cut ties with them. You might have to cut ties with them and just love them from a distance until they get their shit together. That's the only way it's going to happen. Sometimes you have to, when it comes to codependent people, you have to hit them with that tough love. And sometimes you have to throw them out to the sharks. They got to learn how to swim, right? Because if you don't, then they'll just continuously latch on to you. They'll latch on to you. They'll hold on to your back, and expect you to just carry them everywhere. No. Sometimes you got to throw them in there. Eventually they'll learn how to swim and they'll learn how to maneuver around them, but they're not going to learn if you're constantly holding their hand and carrying them. If you acknowledge they have codependency issues, bring it to their attention. Bring it to their attention. Listen, the response might not be the kind of response that you would want, because not even codependents want to admit that they're codependent. And not all of them, at least. But at the end of the day, maybe they might look at their behaviors. They might reflect on their behaviors and say, something, okay, I want to try to do something different to change this. I'd rather spend my lifetimes, if I had to choose between the two, I'd rather be a codependent than be a narcissist. That's for sure. Robert says, I had to note how my situation I survived. It was similar to Selena Gomez's song, Lose You to Love Me. I haven't heard that song. I gotta listen to it. Oh, Kaba, thank you, sweetheart. Thank you, guys. I want you guys to know I do this with like the most pure intentions. If you guys are good judges of character, and feel my energy, just feel my energy, and if it sits right with your spirit and it works for you, you are more than welcome to stick around. You're more than welcome to join us. Every live that I do, I have the calendar again for March. It has a list of my lives, and it has a list of the meetings, which I'm going to, like I said, if you want to join and participate, it's for free, guys. I'm not charging anything. Okay. I'm not charging anything for sessions. I'm not charging anything for support groups. So if you want to join us, just send me an email, narcsurvival101@gmail.com. And I'll send you the calendar. I set up the calendar to work around everyone's schedule. So whatever your schedule is, you pick the date you want. I'll send you the confirmation form and you let me know. Okay. And the one-on-ones are a little bit more complicated for me because it's more during the weekdays and I have a lot going on. So I'm trying to see if I can make more of it throughout the upcoming months. But the Zoom, the group meetings, I think would be really, really helpful because you have peers, you have other people who would support you and other people who've been through the same thing as you. And you guys get to speak face to face. You guys get to know each other and really, help each other out. I know the pain that a lot of you have gone through. I know the pain that a lot of you are still feeling at this moment. And I know the pain that a lot of you who have just gone through a discard are feeling. It feels like you never really knew this person. And the reality of it is that you didn't. You knew someone they portrayed themselves to be, but you didn't know that person because the person that they truly were was the person that you saw in the end. Okay. And that's the kind of person I know none of you would have fallen for had you seen it in the beginning. I don't care how fine they are. I don't care how much of a big butt they have. It does not matter. You do not reduce yourself for the likes of superficial things. That's their job. That's what they do. Okay? So just keep that in mind, guys. Oh, Victor, thank you, sweetheart. Thank you. Yeah, palms, coconuts, they didn't care for our well-being. It's disgusting. It is. Truly is. The devil knew what he was doing, man. He knows what he's doing. Um, palms, coconuts, have you been able to meet anyone good after your ex-narc? I wasn't looking. I truly wasn't. I wasn't looking. I haven't. I have not been in a relationship for the past. What is it? 3 years? 4 years? Holy crap! I think it's almost. It's gonna be four though. It'll be four this year. Well, depending, because my discard happened later on in the year. So, but I haven't been in a relationship. I actually just focused on me, focused on my independence. When you are codependent and you get out of a narcissistic relationship, your newfound independence is just so amazing, and it's just such a great feeling that you don't even want a relationship. They're like, I don't want to deal with nobody right now. And you just, because you're focusing so much on yourself, you're doing things that you enjoy for yourself. You enjoy, I love painting, I love writing, I love, just arts and crafts. That's all I was doing. I was doing things that made me feel good. I was doing things that made me feel good. And I was just like content with my peace. It was so peaceful and so quiet. And, even when the pandemic hit, I was so used to being an introvert and I was so used to being by myself that I went through this pandemic with no issues. Smooth sailing for me. And I don't know, I just looked at it like, you know what, I'm not really interested in dating right now. I got so much that I want to do. And I think the whole dating thing would just be like distracting. It'll be a distraction, and I'm not ready to make that commitment in my life, especially now since I'm committed to what I do here. Like this right here is my relationship. All right. You guys, I'm in a relationship with you guys. That's where I'm at. I'm in a relationship with you guys. So there you go. There you go, Robert. I can do that all by myself, but my commitment is here. My commitment is with my son. My commitment is with my work. My commitment is with this. And as you guys can see, as three commitments, I got my plate full. It's always best to be alone than in bad company. My two LB day for you. You guys have some interesting names. I hope I don't butcher any of your names, guys. I'm sorry if I do. Junior Scott Bobby, I hate I put my all in and she left like it was nothing. That's generally the MO of selfish people. People who are entitled, people who feel entitled to, to your benefits, to the benefits of what you contribute. It's just like, but I don't think anyone who's ever had any kind of empathy can actually do that. I really don't. People who have empathy, who carry empathy, look at it from another person's perspective. If I do this, I know that this person will feel like this because if that person did it to me, I would feel like that. Right? So when you have someone who doesn't have empathy, who does not care, it's easy for them to just walk away. And don't get me wrong, because I know some of you have probably dealt with people who were like, crying or acting emotional or, making it seem like it was hurting them to hurt you. Baby, that's an act. That's an act. They'll sit there and because they're trying to make themselves appear human. They're trying to make themselves appear like, I have empathy, I have sympathy, and it's hurting me. It hurts me that I'm hurting you. No, that it doesn't hurt them that they're hurting you. They just want you to think that. So you will not correlate them with a monster. So you won't correlate them with a robot having no kind of sentiments or no kind of sensitivity. They want you to think that because that way you can still associate them as being a human being, still being a good person. And that right there, that whole show they give you, the crocodile tears and the, I love you, and I don't want to hurt you, and I never meant to hurt you, and all that bullshit, because that's exactly what it is. That works to their benefit. So in the future, when they want to come back in, you'll keep that in your head, that they're still human. Well, I'm here to tell you, if they're not human, okay? They're not human. You can correlate them with whatever monster you want to correlate them. Correlate them with Freddy Krueger, correlate them with Michael Myers, Jason, whomever, okay? They're not human. And do not for a second sit there and think, this person's crying tears, oh my gosh, but they do love me. They don't want to hurt me. They never met. Go back to my video, things manipulators say and what they really mean. Okay? Go back to that. What they say and what they really mean. I never meant to hurt you means I never meant for you to find out. If they try to come back and say, I never meant to hurt you, I never meant to lie to you, I never meant to do all of this, it's because you found out what the hell I was up to, what I was doing. And since I have no other way of getting any other supplies somewhere else, I got to come back to you and appear to be humble and like a human being. The devil was once an angel, guys. Taurus Rising says, demons, my name is Legion, for we are many. Yes. Yes, yes. Only green apples. They're only sorry they got caught. Yep. And if you if you reject them, no, I'm good. I'm good. Oh, they'll cry, but they're not gonna get mad at they're not gonna cry for you and the relationship and I really wanted us to be together. I really think we can make it work this time. No, they're crying because they lost another source and they have to find a new one. Yes, the extremely entitled narcissists are the grandiose. Those are the well, depending on the type you're dealing with, because you have like the coverts and the overts. Yes, Kava. The worst is when you outsmart them, it's like a challenge to them. Because now it's like, okay, all right, I got something up my sleeve for you. They love to compete, guys. They will compete with you. They will try to compete with you. Okay? They will try to compete with you, which is why I tell you, okay, I'm going to say it again. Do not go to their social media. Don't go looking through their stuff. Okay? Because they know if you're in your fields, they know that you will go and look, and they're going to give you stuff to look at. They're going to give you stuff to look at. Okay? You have to pretty much, because once they see that you're not responding, you're not reacting, because they can feel that, guys. Just like you can feel when someone's watching you, they can feel those things too. Okay? And they know, especially if they go to your page and you're basically counter responding. So like if they throw up a subliminal, right? And then you go to their page and you see the subliminal. So you put something on your page, they go to your page, they see the subliminal on your page, and it's back and forth. That's competition. And that's their way of playing a game. But if you don't play, then they look like fools playing with themselves. Just saying. I'm just saying. That's my personality, guys. I keep it 100. I don't play games when it boils down to people and their motives and what it is they do. Yeah, that's just me. I'm gonna tell you, I will give it to you guys like it is, because at the end of the day, guys, we're all adults here, and my end game is to help you heal, and my end game is to help educate you and other people, and whatever it is that you need help with, help be that support system for you. Okay, you know, and just help you get through it so you can help other people. All right, so you can grab the mic, you can grab the camera, because the more awareness we create, the better, the better. Okay, we got children, guys. We have kids, and we got to remember the kind of people in this world that we're putting our kids out there into this world with these kinds of people. We got to think about that. We really have to think about that. Okay, I could fend for myself. I can take care of myself, but my son is a different story. And I want him to be able to make the right decisions, the right choices based on what I teach him on how to protect himself. With that same breath, how to appreciate a good woman and how and when to kick to the curb the little trifling fast ass females who, by the way, I'm waiting. I'm waiting for them to knock on my door. Oh, I'm waiting. Yes, Katie Rose says, one thing I noticed, they notice when you no longer explain yourself. They get so mad when you respect you. And that's what you got to do. You going to get mad at me for respecting myself? Really, though? Really? Can you recommend a book? Was there a resource that was especially helpful to you? A lot of my there are so many different, I mean, because when I started learning how to understand and decipher narcissism, and then I just started like going more deeper into things, um I just kind of I learned, I mean, listen, one of the greatest things I could say about the internet is, besides having my own experiences, thank you so much for that, sweetheart. Auntie, thank you so much, my love. Besides putting my own experiences, I learned that, the internet is a great, great thing to have. Okay. When you're learning about different types of narcissists, narcissism, narcissistic abuse, psychology. I'm one of those, I can have a book filled with 10,000 pages, or I can learn something and really like take every different type of option that I can, with the situation, because no two situations are the same, and write out different scenarios for these different situations. Um, I haven't had like well, I haven't really ordered any books online, but there are a few books. Actually, you have a book also. My friend Amanda has a book when she started because listen, we're transparent here, right? We all, we're all honest with one another. We've all been to therapy. I've, been to therapy, and so has Amanda. And she actually got recommended a book that, it's really helped her in her process. It really has. She'll put up the name of the book, but I definitely want to get more into. I just learn from different. But I can tell you though, one of the good websites to go to, especially if you want to understand, I've done, like psychology.com. They really, really like they explain, because when I was going to therapy and I started like going online, I started learning like some websites actually give you the breakdowns. You have some that give you like the technical and the medical, and then you have others that give you the breakdowns of things. And in learning, and just learning the ins and outs, that's when I just started pushing towards psychology. My thing is understanding the mind. I want to understand why. I want to understand why, not how. I already know how, not where. I know where. I want to understand why. Where does this come from? Why is this becoming, this is an epidemic. Like, it's bad. It is really, really bad. And, I just like to just go to different sources and just kind of compile everything and put a lot of stuff, because clearly when you do like a thesis or report or what have you, you take all the information that you learned and you have to put it in your own words. You have to be able to present it to people, but within your own words, because that explains and it shows that you have understanding about it. And but I will start ordering, because I have to get some more psychology books and really push myself into it. Um, but in the future, if I have suggestions with regards to any books, I'll definitely be sure to mention them, and also plaster them on my platforms. Give me 1 second. Okay, so Amanda put, it's called The Four Elements by Don Miguel Ruiz. Um, what was another one that I wanted to read? Um, what is it? Not. I'm thinking of the movie, but it's not Along Came a Spider. But it's something about Oh, look at that! You have a lot of different people who have posts. Guys, be sure to look in the comments. You have a lot of different people recommending books for you guys. One of the books that I have, one of that I find to be helpful, and also if you kind of want to like get through like the basics, Psych 101. Psych 101 is kind of like a crash course for crash course. I know it's that time. It's a crash course for psychology. Um, and it just teaches you some of the basics of the different people, like the different, psychologists in our times and what they've discovered, their theories and things like that. It's not like a actual study book, but it's something to give you the idea of certain things, just to help you better understand the different types of theories that psychologists like Sigmund Freud. It gives you also the attachment theories, guys. Remember my attachment style video? It gives you, and it's all simplified. It's just simplified. So it's not like a book of, like 5, 10,000 pages. It's a simplified book that gives you the different types of theories in psychology. Attachment style, it also has the Rorschach test in here. It's a really good book. It's a good book to have. This is one of my books that I actually that I was just, like I usually read it when I'm like heading to work. I'll pass into it and just kind of very interesting. So yeah, Psych 101 by Paul Kleinman. That's also a good book. In case you want to see what it looks like. Again, this is a book that I use like when I'm like on the train, because I have other books, but I don't want to carry huge books with me. This one, very simplified. It gives you all of the different psychologists, their theories, and the studies that they have done to come up with these theories. And in the middle of the book, let me just see if I can. Oh, here we go. Which is pretty cool because it gives you the Rorschach tests, and underneath it, you get the different types. So when they say, "Look at the picture, tell me what you see," and you look at it, figure out what it is that you see, and then the subsequent pages, it tells you, like if you saw a bird or if you saw a house or if you saw, a heart or what have you, it'll give you the perception of, where your mind is in seeing these images. So it's a really, really good book. Yeah, definitely. And guys, you guys don't have to be psychiatrists, psychologists, or anything like that. You don't have to. It does not, listen, it takes a couple of bucks to teach yourself a thing or to learn things. I think if we had done this prior to getting into these relationships, we could have saved a lot of heartache. But listen, it's spilled milk, right? We learn now. We're able to move forward from this point on. And the more you educate yourself, the more you actually, utilize the tools. You don't have to have a degree. You don't have to do any of those things, because the more you learn, the more you're able to help explain. You could properly explain it to other people. Who has time to sit there reading books with all types of technical terms and medical terms, and half the time they don't even know what they're reading. And if you have the ability to do certain things and learning certain things in a more simplified way, you'll be able to explain to other people. You'll be able to help other people understand better, right? Which is why I give the disclaimer. I'm not there yet. I'm not a medical professional, so I'm not there yet. But I definitely like to help. I like to help other people understand, more easily and efficiently. I'm so sorry, guys. I'm exhausted. I've been up since 7 this morning. Yeah, I mean, you know something, Robert, it's like that thin line, you know? Books do help because you get to learn the mechanics, the quantum mechanics of these situations and of these people. But experience does help because you get to really truly understand, you know, it's if I had to do it all over again and it meant me, re-experiencing this, if it meant me being where I am now, I'd do it all over again. Because if I didn't go through it and if I didn't break my codependency, where would I be right now? I either probably would still be with that person or someone else who was just the same, going through the same cycles over and over again. And no, absolutely. That definitely does because people who go to therapists, not every single therapist is going to understand what you've gone through because, let's just say they dealt with a narcissist. They could have, gone their entire life without ever dating a narcissist. So they're not really going to be as supportive as opposed to someone who had experienced something you had gone through and you're both on the same boat. So I completely get it. Kava said it. Narcs were a lesson from above because we had a trauma that made us attached to them. The people that we have, that we have had ended up with, the people that you had ended up with, the people you were in a narcissistically abusive relationship with, were people who represented certain parts of your trauma. Okay? Your trauma. So keep that in mind too, because they are mirror, a distorted mirror of yourself, meaning that they are the mirror of your trauma. They were the mirror of your trauma. And when you break free from your trauma, you're able to completely not only break free from that narcissistic individual, but from pretty much any type of narcissist that comes your way because you're now paying attention. You're monitoring things. You're paying close attention. The minute you see a red flag, nope, I'm done. I'm out. I'm done. Not dealing with it. That's gonna be your attitude about it. Give me one second. So guys, but I just kind of want to remind you guys, reactive abuse. Like I said, I know that's the technical term for it. I'm not using that term, okay? Because it sounds so contradictory, okay? Reactive abuse. It's like, I call it not taking not taking the person's shit anymore and standing up for yourself, okay? That's what I call it, all right? But just keep in mind, you reacting with yelling and screaming and, if they put their hands on you and you hit them back, I mean, listen, the way I see it, you put your hands on me, I'm putting my hands on you. That's the way I see it. Or if you try to strike me, I'm going to protect myself by any means necessary. You're not being abusive. You are not being abusive if you're reacting towards someone abusing you. You're not being abusive, okay? You are simply giving them a taste of your own medicine and don't even realize that you're doing it at that time. Believe that or not. Believe that or not. And at the end of the day, you can admit it does feel kind of good, right? Did it not feel kind of good when you told them to go fuck themselves? Like, just even if it was that split moment, even if you ended up staying with them, if you ended up staying in that whole situation and you were just like, go F yourself, okay? Get the hell out of my face, you piece of crap, whatever. Made you feel good. Made you feel good for that split second. But you reacting towards their abuse is not being abusive. It's simply being human. Okay? What they are doing is not human. That's not being human. That's trying to control you, manipulate you, and just conform you to whatever it is they want. That's all it is. All right. Thank you, Gina. Thank you so much, sweetheart. Well, guys, oh, look at that. Market 1010. Guys, thank you so very much for being here with me tonight. I appreciate you guys. I appreciate all of you. I do. Anyone who's new, thank you so much for being here. If you follow the channel, thank you so much for following. And of course, to everybody who has, who's been around since day one up until this point, you guys are awesome. I thank you so very much. I love talking to all of you. You guys are amazing people, and I can't understand how such amazing people have to go through such shitty, just shitty behaviors with some really crappy people. Like these, thank you so much for the gifts. Oh my gosh. You guys overwhelm me. I love you. I love you all. But to know that you guys have went through it, let's try to change that for you. Let's try to change it for you. I can't fix what happened because it did happen, but I can try to walk with you in whatever direction you want to go. As long as I know that it's safe for you and it's healthy for you, I'll go wherever it is you need me to go. Okay? So again, guys, if you are interested in doing group Zoom meetings or one-on-one, send me an email, narcsurvival101@gmail.com. I will send you the calendar for the month, and you can let me know what days you would be available. And it's pretty much a gathering of people, with these group meetings, a gathering of people for support for one another. You could bring a drink. You could be at home in your PJs. You could be relaxed. Whatever it is you want to do, it's all for you guys, okay? And matter of fact, I believe this Saturday, right? This Saturday is the first group meeting. For the men, it's going to be 6 p.m.
Switch it.
What is
Women
it?
are 6, men are 8.
Who switched that?
No, women are 6, men are 8.
Who switched that?
That's what it is.
No, men are 6, women are 8. The men are 6 p.m. The women are 8 p.m. I know I put 6 p.m. for men and 8 p.m. for women. I'm sorry, my friend is like. But if you are interested, Saturday, this upcoming Saturday, will be a Zoom group meeting.
She right.
Thank you. I'm about to say.
She right.
So for the fellas, if you want to do the Zoom meeting, the group meeting, it'll be 6 p.m. For the ladies, if you want to do the group Zoom meeting, it'll be 8 p.m. Okay? And if you're interested in joining it, then just send me the email and I will send you the schedule alongside, whatever other forms that'll give you to do for confirmation, and I will lock you into my schedule. All right? So again, narcsurvival101@gmail.com. All of you beautiful people, give me 1 second. Kava, much love to you, sweetheart. Much love to you. I'm sorry. I guess so. Robert, do me a favor, my friend. Listen to that and give me a comment about it. I'll definitely do that, sweetheart. I'll definitely do that. I have a lot of songs on the list. My friend, she's also got me.
3 years worth.
Okay, that's, yeah. I'll definitely do that, though. But beautiful people, I hope you all have a beautiful night. I hope you all have a beautiful remainder of your week. Today's Wednesday, right?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, it's hump day. So we're already halfway through the week. If you guys want to join me on Friday, I'll be on YouTube Live, 8 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. My YouTube link is in the bio of my profile, so you can click on it and subscribe. When you subscribe, you'll be notified when the live is going to start. Again, Friday, 8 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. Saturday, we got the Zoom meeting. I got a very busy month, for the month of March, but it's all worth it, guys. It really is. It's all worth it for all of you. So again, guys, thank you so much for being here tonight. Have a beautiful night. Have a beautiful remainder of your week. If you have questions, you need to reach me, you can contact me on Instagram. Just click the link in the bio. You can email me, or, whichever way, you'll know how to find me. All right. So for those who are going to switch over to YouTube on Friday, I'll see you there, 8 o'clock. And for everyone else, have a beautiful, beautiful remainder of your week. God bless you all. Love, peace, happiness, God's protection, all that good stuff. You guys already know how I get down. And like I said, they don't deserve you. You don't deserve that kind of behavior. You're not in love with them. Remember that. You're not in love with them. It was a trauma bond. Okay? And what else? I think that's pretty much it for the night. I think that's pretty much it. Much love to all of you guys, all of you. And for those I didn't get to answer questions, if I didn't get to answer your questions, I apologize. Please send me the questions if you need them to be answered. I'll be more than glad to help you with whatever it is you need. All right, sweethearts. Thank you so much for being here tonight. Much love, guys. I'll see you guys next week on Tuesday, right? I believe next week, Tuesday. I'll keep you guys posted on it. Have a great night, guys. Bye.